Yeah, Silent Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W. Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mall. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mall. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mall. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mall. Hey. L Boogie with the hot flame, ashtray full of top names, little tree for your membrane. This the 9 hour time frame. I just snatched up a 6-pack, got my hands on a lid pack, whipping up a little batch of snacks. Yeah, man, I think I'm all set. Late night, can't sleep, go ahead and just tap in. Better grab you a cold one, and we about to get some laps in. Wild card on the microphone, he'll hit you with a couple flurries. Y'all need to just strap in for some entertainment sports commentary. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mall. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mall. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mall.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. Your man Wildcard Mark back in the building. And I know you usually see him on Tuesdays, but hey, like true professionals, we remix some shit up, and he's here on Wednesday, and it's okay. Randy Weber, my bro, how you doing, man?
Just waiting for a coach. Just waiting a long time. So that's how I'm doing. How about you?
Nah, man. Life is good. Life is good, my brother. Life is good. Obviously, we're here to talk sports. We'll definitely talk about, you being a Knicks fan in the search of looking for a coach. I see you dressed up as interviewing for a coach. I mean, I love the look.
I'm doing interviews right now.
Yeah. Hey, make sure the interviews get right, get tight. We'll talk about that. We'll definitely talk about potential. They're already having the talks. Kevin Durant possibly on the move, possible trading possibilities are already being talked about. We'll discuss those. But hey, you know what we got to talk about. It just ended. Indiana Pacers took Game 3, 116-107. But before we dive into all of that great basketball talk, I was like, I'm talking ball. Let me holler at my Audible brother. So joining us once again to talk basketball, my man, Audible Bobby G. What's up, bro?
Pacers in 6. I said it first. I guaranteed victory in game 1.
You did.
I stand on business at all times. People want to hit me in my DMs and on social media like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You ain't never played in the NBA. You damn right I haven't. But I've been studying the game of basketball since I was 5 years old. Get at me. I accept all the smoke. Whether I'm right or wrong. But it's like 50 said in Get Rich or Die Trying. It's like when I'm right, I'm right. And when I'm wrong, I could have been right. So I'm still right because I could have been wrong. But I'm right.
Okay. So, man, always a pleasure to have both the Brodies here to talk some basketball. So, I'm gonna come to you first, Randy. Just give us your initial reactions, first thoughts on how the game went down in Game 3 between the Pacers and the Thunder, NBA Finals. Talk to the people, man.
All right, so let's talk about the series Game 1, 2, and 3 because this has been a pretty weird series. So, Game 1 looked a lot like what Game 2 was going to end up looking like outside of the last couple minutes. So Bobby was right that the Pacers were going to end up winning. I don't think Bobby predicted that that's how they were going to win. I think a lot of people were, I know that the ongoing meme right now, like Halliburton with the clutch shot, right? But realistically, that game was much more lost by OKC than it was by the Pacers. But it was won by the Pacers. The OKC was dominating them. The most turnovers in the first half of any finals game ever. and then they come back really more than anything because OKC took their foot off the gas. I felt still pretty confident in OKC going into that because it was like, okay, they just have to not choke, basically, right? Like they weren't outplayed, they just choked. Game 2 seemed to prove me right because Game 2 was domination from beginning to end. The Pacers looked like a G League team in comparison. They were absolutely crushed. There were a couple of times where they started to close the gap a little bit, but it was a wash. Game 3 was the first time the Pacers actually outplayed OKC, and I was pretty surprised by that. For the first half, the Pacers were up ahead, not by like an insane amount, but like they were leading for the first half. Then OKC started leading somewhere in the second half. And then once the Pacers took control, they kept doing it. They kept pushing over and over. OKC missing a bunch of their foul shots, their free throws, including SGA missing one of his, which he doesn't normally do. And I think that the offense from the Pacers was really on their game. They weren't missing shots. OKC was. And I mean, I don't know where the insane defense that OKC had through the first 2 games went. They were not able to hold on to them like they were in those 2 games. I don't know how they get that back, but the first time that the Pacers really looked like as good or a better team than OKC, even despite being 2 up, this is the best game they played against them by far.
I can definitely rock with that. They definitely looked pretty sharp tonight. I'll say that. Hey, maybe just, hey, they was back at the crib, had to get amped up, juiced up for the home crowd. And that, I think that definitely might play a part into it. Bobby G, my brother, man, jump in this conversation.
I will. Hey, Randy made great points. The only thing I'll give you pushback in on your game 1 breakdown is, I would say, like, I didn't call, say, oh, they're going to get down 20 and come back win. But if you've watched the Pacers' playoffs, when they got down 15, was I worried? No. Like, I can't say I predicted they would, but at the same time, like, again, I wasn't worried. Like, they're going to come back and win. I've seen they've done it every round. Like, so no lead is safe. But when you say dominate, like, when you look inside the numbers, did they really dominate? I came on, I think it was it out right after game 1?
Yeah.
On. All right. Again, I think 6 Pacers had double-digit plus minuses, whereas for the Thunder, only one player. I mean, it was like only a handful of guys had single-digit play, and it was only like 3-4 points, +3, +4. Pacers guys said they were +13, +11, +12. This is in game 1. Also, you look at SGA, people say, well, he had a great game. He just needed a little bit of help. He had 38 points on 30 shots. That's not, he hasn't been doing that all season. 44 minutes into the game, he only had 4 free throw attempts. Again, on SGA like. So when you say they dominated game 1, it's like it may have looked that way on the scoreboard, and you're absolutely right. Indiana looked like a JV team playing against a D3 team at minimum, with all the turnovers and the forced errors. I could attribute, I'll give 40% of those to nerves. The other 60%, OKC's great defense. Another thing I think people did, I think a lot of people underestimated Indiana's defense. They've been making OKC real uncomfortable. Game 2 was what it was. When you look at tonight, they've not been able to get to their spots all the time. Tonight, Miles Turner made Chet look. He made him look like 115 pounds, pushing him around, especially towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
Multiple block shots, getting him off of spots. Like, there are points of the game, mainly fourth quarter, last 45 minutes. Indiana just bunkers down, and 2 out of 3 games, OKC hasn't been able to handle this, and they haven't been able to stop number 0. And this random co-star was another thing I pointed out coming to the season. Like, OKC, I know what I'm getting. SGA is what he is. Can I slow down J-Dub?
Yeah, but
Can I
what
slow down Chip? Right.
What-
But with Indiana, who is it? You don't know. Tonight, freaking TJ McConnell.
Yeah,
So first, let me stop and shout out TJ McConnell's sister, man. And we're gonna let that be what it is. But tonight, out of nowhere, TJ McConnell's just making these hustle plays. He's out hustling the entire OKC roster.
Mm.
And again, like those small things is what I thought would be the difference in the series, and that's why it's 2-1 right now.
Yeah, fair. I mean, obviously, Mathurin, you just got to go ahead and come on, Benedict. Who the hell, 27 off the bench?
Yeah,
that's crazy. Hold
on, I'm gonna just push back on your pushback just a little bit. So we're talking about I didn't know about the plus minuses. That's interesting, and I also get the point because this point has been made that despite all of those crazy turnovers, the OKC wasn't getting all of the points on the fast break that they could have, right? Like that. So they could have
points on the game, something like that. 8,
yeah,
9.
they could have dominated more. Sure, of course. That being said, though, the control that they had over the game was still very substantial. I mean, like game 2, the gap in points for a lot of that game was pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, I mean, like, you're the one that predicted it, right? So, we'll talk about like why you think this happened, but they were in really strong control of the game up until those last couple of minutes, like both in terms of the scoreboard and also just, I mean, if you watch the game, like every Pacers player was really heavily bothered and every defender was on their game up until those last couple minutes. So what do you think happened? Like it just looked like a choke job to me. What do you think happened?
That's fair. That's a fair statement. I will answer your question with a question first.
Mm-hmm.
In game 2 versus game 1, did it look like an experienced coach looking and saying, "Hey, we got what we came for. This one's in, let's take our foot off the gas and let's go home healthy."
That's what it looked like to me in game 1.
In game 1, on the other side, you got an inexperienced coach on OKC side, and I mean that's the difference. You got Rick Carlisle over there looking, "Hey, get it down to 10 by the middle of the third quarter.
If not,
we got that.
Yeah.
Get it to 8 going into the fourth. We got that." So it's like your control in game 1 is more like a slow leak. A lot of people would look at that game and say, "Hey, OKC controlled the pace in the third quarter." I didn't look at it that way. I looked at it as Indiana slowing themselves down. We played too fast in the first half. If we eliminate these turnovers, let's just slow down a little bit, get control of the game, and then take off. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly how I played. Once they got in striking distance, they took off.
Then they was playing that game.
Yeah. Right. Now you come to game 2, fast forward, they couldn't get that. Hey guys, let's get this down to a manageable game here. Shit, it's not there yet. Let's try one more. Let's try and give it one more push. Okay, it's not there. You know what? This is a wrap. Let me pull my guy. We got what we came for. 1-1. We got the home court, and that's the difference on the sideline to me. So I think that part of it was on the sideline. OKC, yeah, he definitely came out. And I said to Mar, game 2 was the most important game of anybody on their team, on the roster's career. But game 1 was the most important game of both teams' careers. Tonight was the most important game of both teams' careers. And Friday night is going to be the most important game of both teams' careers. Because if you're Indiana, you don't want to go to OKC 2-2. Obviously you're giving them the home court back. And if you're OKC, you definitely don't want to go home down 3-1. Nope. Mm-hmm. So, and again, right now, when all of the money's on the line, Indiana's 2-1. And OKC is really 1-0. Because when their chips were on the table, they won that game 2, like I say. But Indiana didn't really. It's like, yeah, even if we lose, we got what we came for. So they're playing with house money.
I also think that, and this was another thing that had been criticized a lot, the decision to go small ball in game 1 and to have Hardenstein come off the bench instead of being in the starting lineup. I think that they realized that was a mistake, but it didn't even really seem to help in game 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the strategy's got to be like, I mean, obviously the strategy, like, just, you know, do what you did in game 2, but like just forcibly put pressure on everybody. Like the fast breaks and the transition and all of that was the same thing that ate us, right? The same thing that ate the Knicks. So they really do need to adjust for that, and I don't think they did a good job of that in game 3, despite having done a pretty good job of that before.
Yeah, I agree. But and to me, that's where the coaching and experience comes in. Like, it's one thing to go with the strategy, but when you see Pascal cook Hartenstein one time, you get to that panic as a coach. Do I keep him in? And we've seen him make the wrong decision basically twice. So, like, stay with what you think is going to work and give it a chance to work. I think the only other thing got in OKC's way is, for the first time in the series, Tyrese Halliburton played aggressive from the second quarter on. Like, he went at people instead of waiting, kind of, you know, trying to set the table for everybody else. He went out and played basketball.
Well, he needed to do that after game 2, because game 2 I felt he was just too passive, and it was
in both games he was kind of passive. In game 1, he didn't get going to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, because my analogy was for it is like, come on, man. It's like, I get it. I love what he's been doing down the stretch, clutch, fourth quarter. That's great. But you can't just like be disappearing for damn 3 quarters, three in the you know, quarter of the game, and then all of a sudden, hey, here I am. It's like, bro, like I need you to have your imprint from some point at the beginning and let it carry through to your clutch moments.
Yes,
he was more aggressive on that tonight for sure.
Yeah, and the stats also reflect that. I mean, he shot pretty badly in game 1 outside of that last shot. It was 5 for 12 before that last shot, 2 for 7 from 3. Absolutely. This one, he was 1 rebound away from a triple-double in this game. So yeah, I mean, I think that him trying to be the traditional point guard, even though like he can shoot, as much as I don't want to compliment him, he can shoot, he can score. He doesn't have to be a traditional point guard and rely on that.
His best shot that I've been seeing through these first 3 games, and especially this game, and more specifically last game that I saw even in the loss, his best spot on the court is that elbow when he does the quick little bunny right there at the elbow. That's been his best spot where he gets the most space. That's what I've noticed so far, because otherwise, if he tries to go to the paint, they've been picking his pockets because he'll put it back on the floor. And then if he's not getting that space at the 3, like I did like that one move he did to Cason Wallace, where he faked the pass and he bit for it, and then he just jumped up in the shot. So unless he's getting those open 3s and he's not getting to that elbow, it's been real tough for him. Been tough sledding for him. But I do like that he was being aggressive and trying to get to that elbow more tonight, because he definitely saw that little floater was working for him in game 2. And so if he can keep that up, that performance on his offense, I think could carry them possibly to this Larry O'Brien if he keeps that up. And OKC got to make adjustments on that ASAP, because if they keep letting him open, then he'll take that all night, and that's a problem. But on the flip side, I'm looking at his GA, and obviously the 9 for 20, it sticks out like a sore thumb. I mean, you can't fabricate this, y'all. I'm a big SGA fan, but you can't fabricate 9 for 20. All right, you can't. All right, so who wants to take stab at SGA's performance tonight first? Go ahead, Bobby. You take a stab at it.
They're just basically, Indiana is making him be inefficient, and I'm not gonna be one of those guys be like, oh, the moment's too big. And like, everybody on the court is nervous. They're just making him be inefficient. Like I said, we talked about it the other day. They're like 6 or 7 guys in this finals combined from the Team Canada roster.
Yeah,
like 4 guys on the Pacers. They know his game. If you watch them when they're guarding him, They're not going for the pump fakes. They know they're coming. They're standing their ground, standing on their feet, and playing vertical defense like you should. And that's a problem for him. And I mean, he's going to get buckets.
Hey, what happens?
You're not going to hold him completely down, but
hey,
they're
Bobby,
just making him take inefficient shots.
Hey, Bobby, real quick. What happens when you bend that shoulder and then they back up and they're not there?
Hosted this OKC team, bro, they get away with more push-offs than any team in the history of basketball.
Damn.
Like, and I think I finally figured out SGA's secret to how he's avoiding the call. He bends his hand in. So when he pushes off, he's pushing you more with the wrist, and he's not fully extending the hand. So he's getting away with it. It doesn't look like, the stiff arm.
That's a bad move, though.
It is. Credit to him for getting it. But man, goodness grief. And I mean,
Goodness grief.
I mean, he's a thin dude, but he looks like Hercules pushing these dudes off, man. Like I think he's sent Nemhard flying like 4 times.
Yeah, he's thin, but he is strong. Like, I mean, the way that he finishes through contact, you can tell, and that's always been like one of his biggest strengths, despite being so thin and lanky and like lizard-like. Like he'll like there was in the fourth quarter when he was going to the rim and like contorting his body. He had like 3 guys on him, and he was able to push through. Like he is pretty deceptively strong.
Yeah, give him that. And then J-Dub, who is strong, like he looks strong. Yeah, he's pushing Mathurin all over the place, and Neesmith. He got away with a couple. He got away with the little side headbutt on Neesmith. But I mean, the Pacers, you just got to play through it. Do what they're doing. Play through it. Don't get caught up in that, because you get caught up in complaining to the refs. You're slowing down your offense when you get the ball. It's nothing they can do. Just good, like you said, good vet moves. But they're making him be inefficient. Like tonight, 24 points on 20 shots. Game 1, 38 points on 30 shots. If they can keep doing that, keep him off the line as much as possible. What did he go tonight? 6 free throws for the game.
Yeah, that's way low than what he normally attempts. I know that for sure.
And then combine that. That's another thing that cost him in this game. OKC's late game free throw shooting in all 3 games. And more importantly, this game in game 1. They've missed some free throws down the stretch that could have kept them in both games. So.
Yep.
All right, Randy, jump in here. What are you noticing from SGA's performance, specifically tonight, or you want to go over the whole series, however you want to dial it up?
So I think that, and one thing that I have noticed is that a lot of the time, and it's not just SGA. I noticed this from Chet too. Sometimes they go for shots they don't need to go for, and instead of just passing to the open guy making the best shot, SGA will just run into a group of defenders sometimes. And he is, like I was just saying, very good at finishing through contact, but you don't have to try doing that every time, right? Like that's a lot.
That's his default bag, bro. That's his default bag.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If it's not working, like you should always go for the cleanest shot you can get. Like if that takes passing it around, like and wearing the shot clock down, you got to do it.
Hey, Randy, I get what you're saying, but you got to go the psychological route. People's tendencies are the tendencies. When your default is your default, and you're like, man, I know what always gets me to that spot or gets me to that point, and that's what SGA is thinking. So I'm going to do it. Yeah. I don't care.
And that's what's costing him. That's exactly the problem. Is he needs to dial that instinctual reaction back and be like, okay, the paint is kind of clogged up right now. Let's use that to get good perimeter shots, right? Like they know, because the Pacers know that that's his bag, so they know that they're going to try to get as much contact for him to run through as possible. Use that threat and use that to open up perimeter shots. I think that would be the way. Like he doesn't need to have 30 points for them to win. Like they just need to collectively have enough points. Like be a little bit more of a point guard if you scoring isn't working.
Yeah. And typically he's normally good about doing that, but I mean, I agree. Yeah, normally I I think he would default to that. Exactly what you just said normally. But we gotta, like Bobby said, these are not normal circumstances because the NBA Finals, about probably if you do the roster breakdown, off the top of my head, I say between both rosters, 95% of these dudes never been in this situation before. You know, so I'm gonna give a little leeway on the fact that he might have a little, you know, this. I'm not saying the moment's too big, but at the same time, you know, you do kind of. I can imagine your first time in the finals, you kind of take it. All right, let me just relax and just realize this is just basketball. So,
and I think that, I think that also to that point, the fact that OKC was so heavily favored may also be playing a role in that. I don't think that they came into this expecting it to be as much of a challenge as it's been. I think that they realized how much more talented they were coming into this game. I mean, the odds for game one were like, what, a 12-point line? You know, like, you know, and like I didn't give the Pacers a chance. A lot of people didn't give the Pacers a chance. I think that high expectation may be weighing more on OKC than on the Pacers, who were going into this with something to prove, not the you better win this, otherwise you're a choker kind of feeling. Like nobody expected them to win. So that might be playing even more of a role for OKC than Indiana, which would explain game one.
Yeah, and that's why that was one of the things that could concern me, that kind of helped sway me towards the Pacers. Like when you look on the sideline and you look on the court, who do you go to in a tight game? And I don't mean on the court, but who can put a word in your ear to calm you down, to regroup? For OKC, I don't know who that is. But for Indiana, I got my coach who's been there, done that. Mm-hmm. And the second best player on my team, Pascal Siakam, has been there, done that. Yeah. So he can be on the court. Hey, Tyrese, just calm down, do this, X, Y, get. And when he goes to the bench, he can get that same advice from his coach right before he gets back on the floor. So OKC better figure, they got to figure out who that guy is quick.
Yeah, because you mess around and fumble game 4,
that's over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's if I had a perfect prediction, this is how I would have played it. Obviously, I thought Indiana would win game 1, and I thought OKC would take game 2. Indiana take both at home. OKC go home, get that one, and then champagne in the locker room. Game 6 in Indiana.
I'm still confident in OKC winning despite everything that I'm seeing. I just think that
don't let your brain fool with your eyes.
Look, the fact that they're up, to.
Hold on, you just hold on. I'm gonna let you get off what you gonna say.
Oh, okay, all right.
Well, hold on. You just said, dog. I know what I'm seeing, but you trying to fix your brain to go against what you're seeing. I don't know if that's the.
I don't think you always pick the team that happens to be up, right? Like that's if you like we were just talking about with game 1. Yeah. I still think that I get what Bobby's saying. I think he's making good points, but I think that is a game that without maybe some of the psychological stuff, they close that out.
Yeah, but here's my question to you. When they were up 15, did you think the game was over?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I know that, again, I know what they did to us in game 1, right? But the OKC is a much better defense than the Knicks are. So I didn't think that was going to happen to them just because it happened to us.
I ain't gonna cap. I was like, until it was fourth quarter, and then I was like, until I saw that Rick was pulling his players, until he pulled his players, I don't believe the game's over. So until Rick did that, I was like, okay, it's done. Because with these dudes, they've already shown us time and time again, all 48. And so the moment that he pulled them, I was like, all right, they're conceded. All right, it's done. Let it go.
Okay.
I'll let it rock.
Okay. But this is why I'm gonna say why I'm still confident in OKC. OKC
My man Rod. Shout out my man Rod. My man Rod. Hey.
That's funny. That's funny as fuck. What was I saying? Oh god, yeah.
Hey, Rod tends to
Yeah.
do that. He'll throw some shit out there that'll fuck your whole train of thought up in a heartbeat.
So I'm gonna say the reason why I'm still confident is game 1 should have gone to them and they choked it. Game 3 was the first game back in Indiana. I don't think that these are good indications of who's actually the better team here. I think that the fact that game 2 was as dominant as it was, and I mean, like, look at a perfect example is look at the OKC Nuggets series, right? Every game the Nuggets won was close. It was to the end. One of them went into overtime. The games that OKC won, domination. What that says to me is that if you're actually looking at which of the two teams is better, it's the one that's winning all of their games dominantly, not the one that's fighting like underdogs to stay in it and getting the best last shot. And that's basically how the Pacers have won. I mean, this game wasn't that close, that down the line. Like, they got a good spread at the end, but like OKC was leading for most of the second half. Game 2 was just domination. I still think that OKC is enough of a better team that they should get it, but whatever psychological thing is in their way is what they really need to address, because I think that that's, if they do lose, that's going to be why.
I'm glad you said that, Randy, because a wise man by the name of Dominic Toretto once said, "It don't matter whether you win by an inch or a mile.
A dub.
Winning is winning."
A dub.
And like,
But,
that was the point. I just
yeah, exactly. But winning by an inch and winning by a mile still do tell you different things, right? They still tell you why a team won versus what. So how well you project that into the future, that does matter.
Nah, because both of them had me with the trophy at the end. I don't care what you tell the people how you lost. I won.
There's more games left, though.
But no, here's I'm glad you pointed out the psychological point, because basically, if you look at that, that's sports. That's life. Like, think about the best basketball player, football player, whatever sport you knew in your high school. The reason he didn't make it to the next level was up here more than on the court. It's the pressure of getting to each level. That's what makes an all-star versus a role player. That's what makes a superstar versus an all-star. The ability to mentally handle that pressure and still perform. So when you say it's the psychology, then if Indiana's handling that pressure and they're performing, that does make them the better team. That makes them built for the moment more than OKC.
I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I talked about it last night. Aranya Sabalenka. I don't know if you ever heard of the name. She's a very good tennis player, top 2 ranked. She's a baller. All right, she's great at tennis. All right, 9 times out of 10. Well, let me take that back. 8 times out of 10, she's better than Coco Gauff. All right. Coco Gauff has got her twice in these finals. And now, you know, Sabalenka, oh my God, all my unforced errors. She didn't beat me. But I got 2 instances where you keep saying that, you know, all these unforced errors you got, but I got 2 losses on your record in a finals to Coco Gauff. I don't care how it happened. You lost. You were the better player. You're highly ranked than Coco Gauff, but the last 2 finals, she got you.
Sure. I don't disagree with that. But again, we're projecting this onto a 7-game series, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what the importance of understanding why the team lost is this something within the team's control? Can the team adjust for this? Can the team fix this? Can the team respond to this? If you're losing just because the other team is insanely more talented, like if you're playing like the KD Warriors and you're losing because of that, well, you're losing because they're the better team, right?
Yeah.
That's not what's happening here.
Well, so hold on, Randy. I hear what you're saying, but Chet Holmgren's taking 15 shots, 6 for 15, 0 for 6, 3-point. Shea 9 for 20. You can affect your efficiency. I mean,
Yeah, but this is they have options, right? Like if Chet's not playing well, they have people in that role. They have Hartenstein in that role, right? Like the OKC is a deep team. If somebody's not rising up to the moment, they have the players that they can rotate around. They can limit someone's minutes if they're, give them a breath, put them back on, right? Like they're not a team that's relying on Chet to save them.
and that's fair. And to your point right there, I can look at the coach and say of OKC and look at his inexperience and say, hey man, I like Alex Caruso too, but 32 minutes off the bench is wild. That's wild.
And you like this, OKC is body deep. They're deep in bodies they can throw, but the Pacers are deep with substance. I have guys that are actually going to give me something. So you have more guys to throw at me. Yeah, you can bring in Isaiah Joe off the bench, and he can give you 5 to 10 minutes. You can bring in Aaron Wiggins. You can bring in Jalen Williams. You can bring in Kyrie Williams. You can bring in Caruso. But combine all those bodies you throw at me, I got Mathurin by himself who can match all of those guys. I got Neesmith who can match all of, you know what I'm saying? So Indiana has more substance that they're throwing at you off the bench.
I don't agree that if you look at both rosters in total, like starters and bench players, that Pacers have more substance. You think that the entire roster of the Pacers is better than the entire roster of OKC? Because I don't agree with that.
No, I don't. And but that's my point. Like I'm saying, they got those bodies, but at the end of the day, like the three guys you bring in, like I said, Isaiah Joe, Wiggins, Caruso. 14 points off the bench. I got Mathurin who gave you 27. Okay, give me some more bodies. Like you have to throw more bodies. I got one guy matching your 4 guys off the bench.
Okay, but it's not just about points. Caruso's bringing elite defense, and he has been. I mean, a lot of those in the game one, a lot of those turnovers, those first turnovers were from him.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now combine that with TJ McConnell. Now I'm only 2 deep, but my 2 guys off the bench will now give you more because he gave you everything you just said you got from the other guys. So now I got your hustle match, I got your points match with 2 guys, whereas you have to throw 5 guys at me to get that same production. You see what I'm saying?
Well, from what I'm looking at, and this is something that you said, Bobby, because I agree with Randy 100%. If you're looking at these rosters, especially on paper, you're like, there's no way that this final should even be of any interest.
Absolutely.
But the fact of the matter is, it goes back to what you said, Bobby. When this team is literally they're scorching earth hot right now, and that's just what they are. They're not necessarily the better team because I don't think they are talent-wise. If you go down the roster, no, I don't think they're the better talented roster, but because they are just so, I think right now are just so connected in such a hot manner when you see this in sports. And I think this kind of answers your question, Randy, of what you're talking about, that psychological thing. This is like that unforeseen, like untold thing that I guess anomaly of sports that you can never measure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something, and we've all been in the locker room, and you feel it when all the homies is on one fucking page. Like, nah, man, hey, turn your phones off. We ain't worried about no boppers. We especially if you in high school, we focus on getting our grades, and we focus on this football, or we focus on this basketball. We so tuned in, we so tunneled, and like they're all on that same page, and it don't matter that their talent is lesser. They're just it's like some weird voodoo sports magic shit going on right now. Just
yeah. No, I get it, and I acknowledge the importance of the psychological aspect. I mean, like we talked a lot about, we were just when we were talking about the playoffs as a whole. We were talking about the Clippers series, and I was making fun of playoff James Harden. Yeah. Right, like there are a lot of players like that are insane talents but can't get it done, and it's because of the psychological thing. I'm not discounting the importance of that. I just don't think that in this case there is enough. First of all, like you had pointed out, other than Siakam, the Pacers haven't been here either.
Yeah.
You're right, Rick Carlisle and Siakam. Aside from that, that's it. Is that more than OKC has? Yes. Is the fact that one of them is the head coach important? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Of course, 100%. But that's a lot. You're essentially trying to bridge what I think is a pretty significant talent gap with a significant psychology gap, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that's a lot to put on a team, first of all, that's learning as they go, right? Like, look at the difference between OKC in game 1 and game 2. OKC basically just didn't make the mistake they made in game 1, and that's why they stayed dominating that whole thing. The mistake they made in game 1 was taking their foot off the gas. There were also other ones that you could point out, like not having Hartenstein and they're closing out small ball. You know, there were things, right? But like basically the main thing was just holding onto that lead. And game 1 they didn't do it. Game 2, for the most part, looked a lot like game 1, except they closed it. So they're learning. I think as the series goes along, especially once they go back to OKC, the psychology gap is going to start to close itself.
It can, but I'm gonna put this nugget in. I'm gonna drop this nugget in, and I want you to let it marinate, and I want you to react to it as natural as possible.
All right. I'm taking it. I'm marinating it.
All right. So because you bring in the coaching aspect, and I've always said this to people about this series, as it started and as it's gone along. I'm like, we cannot forget that coaching aspect and act like it shouldn't be magnified to what it is. Because if we were talking about just any other NBA coach, not named Rick Carlisle, the unfortunate situation with Pop, if we were, blessings to him, if we were talking about him, I would understand it. If we were talking about maybe Phil Jackson, but this isn't your normal NBA coach with Rick Carlisle. And I want to bring up the history of when he has a lesser talented team going up against a superpower. All right. I will bring it up and I will go on top of the hill and the Himalayas and I will scream it again. This man has done this before. He has a blueprint of taking a team that is lesser and may not have the experience, but he will take you down in the finals because he knows how to just fucking coach basketball. He did it to the Heat with a lesser Mavericks team. And what was it was 4-2. All I'm saying is do not be surprised if it ends up being 4-2 again, because Carlisle knows how to coach a team that is, quote unquote, going to be lesser talented than his opposition, and he knows just how to coach fucking basketball.
I think that's a very good point. I'm still not swayed that Pacers are going to win. I let it marinate.
He's not scared. He's not scared. There's no prime LeBron. There's no prime Chris Bosh. There's no prime D-Wade. Damn it, Rick Carlisle ain't scared.
First of all, D-Wade was absolutely not in his prime at that time.
He had enough left.
First year Heat?
Yeah, he had enough left.
He was his knees were shot,
big three.
bro. Like
first year?
His knees were on the decline for like going into that whole Heat period.
Randy, that's fine. We can have that conversation for another day. But at the end of the day, the grand scheme of literally of what he had to take down in that finals, he's not scared of SGA. He ain't scared of no Hartenstein. He ain't scared of no Williams. He ain't scared of no Dort. He ain't scared of no Wallace. He ain't scared of anything on that lineup, because he knows how to coach something that has played on a higher level than these guys. Just put that into, if we're talking about psychological, put that in perspective. If I've beaten something on a higher level, way worse, in a very more talented atmosphere than what this Thunder team is, I ain't scared of y'all.
Okay, but we also have to put that entire series into context, right? LeBron choked and didn't show up in the 2011 finals.
Hey, but was he?
What if he doesn't?
He was there though.
he was there, right? Like we're talking about like Dwayne Wade, whose knees were shot, LeBron, who was choking, and then Chris Bosh, who was a very good player, but not at the level of an SGA, right? So like this, and then he also had Dirk Nowitzki. Yes, the overall roster was not good, but he had Dirk Nowitzki. The context is different, right? Like it's not a complete 1-for-1. If LeBron doesn't choke during that series, the Heat probably do win.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. If you go on 1-for-1, there's in context wise, you can poke holes at my theory. I'm just talking about when it comes down to the psychological part of when it comes. We're just humanistically thinking about this. Like, why would you ever be afraid of anything, knowing that you've seen something far more better than that? I wouldn't. That's just humanistically in my nature to not be afraid of that.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I don't think he's afraid of OKC.
Rick Carlisle is he's ready to coach damn circles around this series just like he did in 2011. And I didn't never see it to this way. And Bobby,
you're doing it.
No, Bobby helped open the eyes, and I'm like, now I'm kind of looking at
but coaching can only do so much though. Like we're talking about like actively coaching a team to outplay a significantly better team. You can coach a team really well.
You can, but guess what? Bill Belichick,
but that's a lot to say. Like this team I'm going to make this team beat the other team,
and got 6 rings. He had a lesser team and got 6 rings.
What
when you look at the
Pats had a lesser team.
When you look at the talent of those Patriots team, they were not talented. No. They were just in the best spot.
No, we're not going into that.
Yeah, I don't.
No, we're not doing that. No,
those Patriots defenses were loaded.
Exactly the right spots.
They had top 10 defense every time they won.
Yes. Yeah, they had they averaged a top 7 defense.
I know that was based majority off of their team. They didn't. I'm talking about talent wise.
Their defense was loaded.
Yeah, those defenses were
Samuel Richard Seymour is probably the only 2 off the top of my head that I say were actually physically talented dudes.
You forget Prime Stephon Gilmore.
Okay,
who should have been MVP of that Super Bowl.
Okay, that's you got me on that one. Shut up, man. All right, relax.
I think Stephon Gilmore before anybody knew who he was. Stephon Gilmore.
There were better coaching examples.
Okay. Well, I fucked up, and maybe I'm too high.
Belichick also won rings with LT.
Fix that take. We'll fix that take.
Yeah, I got to side with Randy on this
one. Hey, you know what? You know what would be actually the perfect example. You know what would be the perfect coaching example? What Sean Payton did with the Broncos last year. That's the perfect example. Outside of Patrick Surtain, who was a top talent on that team.
That's fair. That's a fair analogy. And actually, that defense, I'm scared of that defense. I'm not scared, but I am starting to get like, oh shit.
Yeah. But on paper, that defense is not a loaded team.
But my main point is that at the end of the day, sometimes coaching, if it can put you in the right spot, even though you're at the lesser talent, and put you in the situations that you know you can have the higher percentage to either get that bucket, get that layup, get that fast break, start playing the numbers games, and really get in your spots. And if you can do it, and Rick Carlisle showed he can. I can't doubt anything that Rick Carlisle can ever do in this series.
All right. I don't know. I feel like we're talking about Rick Carlisle like he's prime pop or Phil Jackson.
No. But I'm just saying the coaching disparity to me is.
You think it's really significant? I mean, I'm not even necessarily saying I disagree. Carlisle's the better coach of the two. I'm not arguing it.
Yeah. No, I don't think anybody with any sense will go against that. I'm just saying, like, if there's going to be times where it's going to come down to making the right adjustments, making the right rotations, even calling the right calls, knowing when to take a timeout, knowing when to ease, to kill somebody's run, know when to, hey, I would trust Rick Carlisle 10 times out of 10 before I trust that coach at OKC. It's to that point where I don't even know homeboy's name.
I mean, it even goes to like a discipline point. If you look at OKC and look at Indiana, Carlisle basically looks at this team and says, if the whistle blows, I wish you would look at this bench going like this.
Yeah, keep going.
Every whistle that blows, you see OKC on the come. And he's falling. Like Rick Carlisle is like, no, this challenge is too valuable. We're not using it until X point of the game. Like just something that small, as a having your team prep. Like, don't ask me. Like you fouled him.
Like I'm not.
Let's keep going.
All right, but let's also to not dunk on OKC's head coach. OKC's head coach just had the highest winning record in the NBA, as opposed to the Pacers, who were the 4th seed. He had the second highest point differential in NBA history, the first highest net rating in NBA history. Yes, he has a very talented team, but it's not a super team. The coaching was a big part of that, right? Like there's a lot of talent on that team, but we're not talking about like LeBron era Miami Heat or KD Warriors that are doing that, right? Like we're talking about a team that is very, very talented, and the coaching is absolutely part of that.
That's fair.
And they made the finals, right? So they beat Jokic to make it to the finals.
I don't know. I don't really think about it.
Hey, can somebody?
What starting 5 would you rather have? This OKC starting 5 or the 2015 Warriors?
Ooh,
2015 Warriors.
Yeah, Steph Clay, Harrison Barnes,
Iggy.
Draymond, and who's it? Bogut.
Yeah, Iggy's on that squad.
Yeah, he's off the bench, but I'm talking just starting 5.
Oh, starting 5.
Those guys versus Shea, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Hartenstein,
Lou
Dort.
That's actually a good question.
See, so when you say, we're not talking about it, we actually are.
Okay, but I very specifically said the KD Warriors, right? Like the LeBron Heat and the KD Warriors. Like we're not talking about teams that should just absolutely dominate everybody.
Yeah, that's the greatest starting 5 in the history of basketball, though.
Exactly, right? Like we're not talking about the Bill Russell Celtics. Like we're not these super team or the 2008 Celtics. Like we're not talking about these star-studded, everybody is themselves one of the greatest players in the NBA type like lineups, right? Like it's one of the most talented in the NBA, but you could argue that there were on paper teams that were close, right? But like the coaching was part of it.
But 100%. If they win, they're going to be talked about like it. If they come back and win the rest of these games, they go 3-0 and win 4-2. They're going to be talked about as if they're one of the best teams to ever play.
Yeah, and they're as it is. I mean,
then we got to put that pressure on them for losing.
That's the thing. The 2016 Warriors, even despite losing in the finals, are talked about on that level because they had the highest wins ever. That was the year that Steph had the unanimous MVP. Like they're still talked about on that level.
Hey Randy, you don't have to remind me about the 2016 Warriors. You got to remind me about that.
Good point. Yeah. So right, like that's that's my point. I would not say that the coaching of OKC has been bad by any means. Like Carlisle's the better coach.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying at the end of the day, I just think there's just going to be maybe it's just me. I just have a certain expectation level for Rick Carlisle that I'm expecting from him because he's already shown us that he can deliver in this stage.
Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. Yes, he overcame a better team. Yeah, there were circumstances around it, but I get it.
Oh yeah.
There's just certain things done, like not calling the timeout in game 1.
Yeah, it happens. I know it's late in the show, but we got some other topics to get to real quick because I've been doing such a good job of staying on with my fans and delivering wild play of the night. It's my top play. Obi Toppin did his damn thing. Let's take a quick look.
Halliburton on the drive. Can't get it. Toppin on the follow. Obi Toppin on the floor.
But no box out. Look, he walks by 2 OKC defenders. No one's boxing out. This is exhaustion. This is a lack of focus. That could have been an and one from Dort's arm. But look, I know one thing. You do not want to get into a jumping battle with Obi Toppin.
Timeout. 3:34 remaining. Pacers by 7.
Ain't that what the
I
young
know it hurts your heart to see Obi Toppin succeed.
ain't that what the young kids say?
Oh yes, it does. Oh yes, he Judas, Judas in yellow.
Said Judas in yellow.
Judas.
Wait, y'all let him go.
I was about to say,
Yeah. Now he's playing for the enemy. He didn't have to do that.
Well, y'all won't go pay him. Yeah. I mean, hell. Yep. It said gave a mean facial. Rod.
Come on.
Rod never change. Rod never change. Never change. Let's talk about it real quick. Obviously, you being a Knicks fan, Randy, you guys are asking permission to talk to some coaches, and y'all are getting denied.
Yeah, I'm pissed. Like it's kind of ridiculous. Like, bro, it's like, is this? I thought the Knicks were being run better than this now. Like I said, I defended the decision to fire Thibodeau. We didn't have a plan. Like, we're trying to take coaches away from teams that already have them. Like, what? Why? Budenholzer and Malone are right there, and Mark Jackson's available. Like, also, I want to correct something because I misspoke last week when I said that our offensive rating. I said our defensive rating was better than our offensive rating. I meant the other way around, which positions us for Budenholzer more so than Malone.
Okay.
But like, they're right there. I think that the reason why we're trying so hard to get Jason Kidd is because the Knicks might be looking at Giannis pretty heavily, and Jason Kidd did coach Giannis. They got along really well, and I think that might be the incentive there. I don't know if that's the best way to handle it, because I know that if we got Budenholzer, then Giannis isn't going to want to come to be coached by him, since he basically forced him off of the team last time. I mean, we also talked to Udoka. We talked to Finch, or we tried to talk to Udoka. We tried to talk to Finch. We got denied for both of those two. We did not talk to them, but we sure tried.
Denied.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, that's crazy. Like, how do you not have a plan when you fire your head coach who just brought you to the Eastern Conference Finals? Like, I'm just pissed, man. Like, that's crazy.
So you being a Knicks fan, I'm just gonna ask you straight up. What do you attribute this to? I mean, they just telling y'all hell no and say click.
Well, they're denying us because they want to hold on to these head coaches, which I understand, right? Like, they don't want us. Why would they want us to talk to a head coach that they want to keep? Like, that's why it didn't make any. Like, did the Knicks think they were gonna say yes? Like, I could have told you they weren't. What if I have a coach that just brought me to the finals last year? I'm not letting you talk to him.
Obviously,
You're crazy.
Yeah, and I think that's the obvious answer. I was like, do you think it has to do with your owner? Is it something deeper than that?
I heard something.
The factor might play it.
I heard something very funny. I was listening to Nick Wright, and he made this point because he had heard this from, I think, Coward, and it was very funny, but there is a chance that it's true. Our owner has had the Knicks be like his big toy for a while now, and now he has that orb or whatever, that's the sphere in Las Vegas, that's been his toy, and that started like about 3-4 years ago when that project was really like in the being built up.
Yeah.
And that's when the Knicks also started to become good. And I genuinely do wonder if the reason why the Knicks were getting better is because Leon Rose was basically taking over uninterrupted. And maybe he's sick of the orb now. Maybe he's sick of the sphere, and he's coming back. I don't have a better explanation than that.
I just think y'all like bullying Dallas. Like, y'all took Bronson from Dallas. Why not try and go get the coach too? Like,
Because they'll say no. Like, that's why we don't do it.
plus,
Yeah.
I mean, the owner in Dallas is kind of reckless a little bit too. You know, she might have said yes.
True. Yeah, no, honestly, like that's the thing. Like if there was any ownership to be like, yeah, talk to our head coach that just brought us to the finals, it would be Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want Anthony Davis too?
Nah. I don't know what you guys gonna end up doing. I mean, we talked about it last week. You know, hey, you got two coaches that won the championship sitting there on the sideline. You got a guy in Mark Jackson. If he wants to get back in coaching, it's shown that he can have a good eye for talent. I mean, he saw something before a lot of people saw coming.
Mhm.
And so, you know, hey, I just, me personally, I think Dolan has a piece in that, and why some people are just kind of like kind of turned off about it a little bit, but just my opinion. But
yeah, I think that's the thing. Also, like a lot of these head coaches would also know that they'd be working for Dolan. I don't know how much of a deterrent that is. I mean, it's a talented enough team that you can win a ring with them. So there's a lot of incentive to come to New York. I mean, like also it's New York, our market, you know, all of that. I do think that Dolan might be a deterrent for some head coaches, and that is unfortunately something we have to be worried about.
But you know what? Is I worked for people I never liked before, so as long as your check is big enough and you just kind of stay the hell out my way, totally fine.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Look at Budenholzer and Malone were both just fired by owners who were acting kind of crazy.
Oh, Eddie.
Oh, Eddie. Yo, you a fool for that, right? But I think maybe I heard reports back in the day when KD was leaving Golden State. He was thinking about the Knicks with Kyrie, but that kind of played a part in it. Don't know if that's true or not. Well, let's speak of KD because
Yeah, he said it.
Absolutely not. No, thank you.
oh, you want no parts of it?
I want no part of KD. Good, thank you, good day. Flip the sign saying we're closed.
Really? Why no KD?
He's fucking almost gonna be 38, and he just ruined two teams.
He didn't
went
ruin the Suns owner ruined Phoenix. I'm sorry. You put together a star-studded team and you forget to get a point guard. You deserve to lose.
Yeah.
Didn't they played with Chris Paul? They had Chris Paul and KD.
Yeah, I'm talking about the new team.
Okay.
You pick up KD, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal. Oh yeah, we need somebody to actually bring the ball up every play, run the offense, not just three guys to play your turn, my turn. You deserve to lose.
No, they deserve. Also, they had no defense. Like
we're gonna trade every center and pick up Bobo.
No, it's crazy. But like also KD does have a huge hand. I mean, in Brooklyn, he basically called the shots. Like he made them do whatever he wanted to. Like that was the reason that they fired what was Steve Nash. Steve
that was our coach.
Okay. He also forced them to fire Steve Nash. That was right. So yeah, I mean that's the thing. He has a huge hand because he's that's kind of the Legends deal, right? The same thing with Aaron Rodgers. That's why I make the parallels between them all the time. If he goes to a team,
if Kyrie gets, that was more Kyrie. If Kyrie gets the shot,
it was. I think it was both. I think it was significantly both. There were rumors that KD didn't like Steve Nash, that they had been fighting, that he didn't like his coaching style, whatever. And so they did kind of force their hand a bit there, even though they were winning with Steve Nash at the time. So, and then I mean with the Suns, like this is a philosophy that I think KD heavily contributes to, that the outdated big three philosophy of just like get three hoopers, get three guys you'd pick off the blacktop. I mean, that's what him, Kyrie, and Harden were. That's what him, Booker, and Beal are. And it doesn't work, but he does keep just trying to force it. He has shown absolutely no leadership. And if you're bringing him onto a team, especially a team that has like a win now window, if you're trading what's going to be significant assets for no, they're not going to give KD away for nothing, right? Like they're going to want significant assets. We're not in a position to give significant assets for one guy. Well, like depth has been our biggest problem. It's the reason why I'm skeptical about taking Giannis, but I would absolutely do that 1,000 times before I look at KD because
30.
Yeah, exactly. Because Giannis is 30. And Giannis can also be kind of a diva, right? Like he was the reason why Budenholzer was gone, even though they were winning, and he forced his brother to get a roster spot. You know, he could be a bit of a diva too, but I think that I would take the potential diva problems of a Giannis over a KD, especially when you compound that with the age difference and the injury history. You know, so. Absolutely no thanks. I do not want us to look like our sister team in Brooklyn when he's done with us because we didn't win a ring in his first year.
I think those are fair points.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I would also be skeptical because I've seen other potential landing spots for him. One of them being the Spurs. I just don't understand. I get it more in their case because outside of like a couple players, like they just have scraps. So, you know, hope that they'll take a bunch of scraps in quantity over quality deal.
Yeah.
But I don't see the Suns doing that. Like the Spurs have Wemby, obviously, who's untouchable. They have Fox, who I wouldn't.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you want him to be. I give up Chris Paul, Vassell, Keldon Johnson, couple of picks.
Yeah, exactly. So like the players that are good on the team, the players that the Suns would want are also the players that the Spurs should not be looking to give up for him.
If I was the Spurs, I'd say Wemby and Fox are untouchable. Have whatever else the hell you want.
Yeah, also not that because Keldon Johnson ain't gonna play. KD will be taking his spot, so he's guaranteed in it. Chris Paul because you need salary and Vassell as well.
Yeah,
so, I mean that's fair. Plus a couple of picks. I think that actually makes the Suns pretty nice though.
I think they got DeJounte Murray on that roster still too.
No, he's in New Orleans.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah,
my fault.
And that's also the thing with the Spurs, right? Like, because the Spurs are their stars are young, right? Like Wemby is just coming off of his sophomore year. Castle was a rookie. Fox is pretty young, right? Like. You have a team that you could build to be a long-term machine, a dynasty even, if you get the right players around Wemby. And you have a couple of really good pieces with Fox and Castle. I don't think you blow that up for an old guy. Like, then you've just shortened your window significantly.
I hear what you're saying, but here's why you can actually – it benefits the Spurs to do it, and they can actually open their window right now if they make that trade for KD. Because if you have KD, Wemby, and Fox at 3 of your spots, you can fill the rest of the roster in. Like Aaron Fox is so talented as a point guard that he can still be a scoring option too. That's how great of a talent he is.
Mm-hmm.
And KD just does what he does. And then Wemby, who is a freak of an athlete for his size and what he does, you just really just kind of draw up plays for him and just say, all right, draw it up for Wemby and then just kind of really get the hell out the way. So, I mean, obviously, you know, Wemby does what he does on the defensive side. You know, you can ask KD to probably help whatever he can contribute, whatever. I mean, you're not asking for much. Fox, he's okay as a perimeter defender. He's solid. He ain't the best, but he puts in effort. So in just how the Spurs culture is, even though Pop is not there, trust me, his handprint is all over that franchise. So
of course, yeah.
That's something that, you know, can also get taken into account as well. So I don't think the Spurs would actually be too far off if they actually made that trade. I think they actually kind of puts them at least towards the 5 or 6 seed, because right now they keep floating to outside of playing, floating to get in playing right now. So
I think they should take the same lesson that other teams should learn from what OKC has done, which is build players young, be patient, grab young guys through the draft. If you're going to make trades for young guys. And like they're starting to do that, right? Like they're starting to get like a really good core of young players. That's what they need to keep doing. Like just be patient, build slowly, right? Like not crazy slowly, right? Because you don't want to wait until Wemby's rookie contract is done. You want to take advantage of the fact that he has a rookie contract right now.
I hear you.
But do that, get a loaded team of a bunch of good players, not just a couple of really good players, because we've seen what that looks like with KD's past two teams. A loaded team. Well, KD's also, right, like another big problem is the fact that you're benefiting significantly from Wemby still being on a rookie contract. You take KD and bring him into there. Now the salary is significantly being eaten up. Like that, the one that you would have spread to get the players around Wemby now is going to one guy who you're not going to have for long. And I think that what they need to do is work towards the long-term building to build a platform the way that OKC did around SGA. Yeah. And I think that's got to be the goal for them. I think if KD's going to go to a team, he's going to go to a team that is in win now mode.
Yeah.
And doesn't have a long-term future. One that's like push, like the way the Mavericks went for like AD, even though he's older, right? Like, because they're pushing for right now. They don't, the future, they're not worried about, whether they should be or not. That's what their setup is now with AD and Kyrie. That would probably make more sense for him, something along those lines.
I hear you, but I'm gonna throw this theory at you. Say, realistically, I say maybe you got 2 solid good years left to KD. Fair?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you could time that up with the time you got to pay Wemby and just go ahead and get those last 2 years of KD, team him up with Wemby, and then when it's time to pay Wemby, thank you for those 2 years, KD. It's been real, but I got to pay Youngin. I'm just saying it's a quick window, and it's damn sure not a long-term solution. But I just the thought of seeing KD, Wemby, and Fox on the court together is kind of nasty.
It would be.
We have ETA on Wemby's do we even know if he can play anymore?
I mean, he should be coming back next season. I don't think
he's got the blood. Yeah, he had the blood clots in his shoulder.
I don't know at the time.
Last I heard, he went to a shower. He went to the
Hey, let me see if I could find something.
Hey, if you think they ain't gonna get that taken care of, come on now.
I mean, we only have like a couple of examples. One of them being Chris Bosh. He never played again. Word's still out on Dame. I know Dame came back, then he tore his ACL. So, like, I'd be kind of concerned if I was the Spurs.
It looks like his expectation right now is to return at the beginning of next season.
Yeah.
And who was this again?
Wemby. With the blood clots, yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear about it. Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's why his season ended.
Mm-hmm. No, that's crazy.
It was really bad. But yeah, I mean, Sports Illustrated, Yahoo Sports, like they're looking like that's with the expectation right now.
Well, maybe you do kind of pull the trigger on this KD thing because you might need something that have some kind of offense unless you know for sure. I mean, because I think we all know as human beings, you don't mess with the blood clots, man.
I'll leave it alone. If I'm the Spurs, I'll leave it alone. Draft Ace Bailey at number 2. Call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's 5. Fox, Castle, Ace Bailey, Wemby come back. Now you need a solid 4.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's fair. I'm just throwing it out there. That's why we had these conversations because look, I love KD's talent, but it's kind of like what Randy said. It's like, do you weigh the options of the time that you're going to possibly have with him for your long term to have a good short term? he still could sell some tickets. That's for sure.
That's true. That's true. Honestly, like when I brought up the Mavericks, I started to think about it. It's like if a team made sense for him to go to, a team that already knows that they're going to be in rebuild mode after a couple of years and is pushing for right now, AD, KD, and Kyrie with a pretty good group of bigs with, you know, Lively, Gafford. Like that's not a
number one.
What?
Are you giving up number one?
No, I'm not me. Mavericks ownership.
You put past.
Yeah, I know. I'll take Cooper over KD right now.
Yeah, I would too. I don't know if they think that way, but if there were a team that made sense for him to go to, I think it would probably be that, or maybe like I don't know. In theory, the Lakers, right? Like because replace, you know, their window is until LeBron decides he's done.
Amen.
So push now.
You don't want to play with LeBron.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know. It is two big egos coming together, but damn the tickets they'd sell together with Luka. Those two.
That's wild. That is absolutely. Imagine that, folks. But hey, man, we're gonna shut it down, man. Did a little overtime. It's all good. Just wanted to make sure we tap in with those last few topics because obviously this is the last episode of the week. So you know, hey, we here Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Y'all know what it is. Hey, shout out to my man Bobby G for tapping in with us. Y'all make sure.
One more thing. Pacers and 6.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, hold on. I just came up with a better idea for KD. What about a Warriors reunion? Another team at that age.
See that, man.
Another team in the short term.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, ooh, Randy. Okay.
Tell me him and Draymond can finally throw hands.
Yeah.
I doubt that, but
it's basically the KD Warriors, except you've replaced Clay with Butler, right? Like that core group right there.
Yeah.
But that's what I thought about. I said, oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I don't hate that. Because on paper, it's because, you know, if this was back, you know, 10 years ago, that'd be monster. It'd be the Monstars. But no, I don't hate that. Hey, tap in with me and Bobby G tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard ish. Because we do the Audible Reacts, and then Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, we have Audible podcast. So y'all tap in with me and Bobby G. Of course, my man Randy, always appreciate you, appreciate your time, appreciate your knowledge and all that. So always appreciate you and what you bring to I.O.W. So y'all make sure y'all tap in. If you need audio needs, Panther on Acid on IG. All right, jump into the DMs if you need audio needs. Other than that, y'all know where to find me. We're signing off. All right, love y'all, appreciate y'all. Y'all know what it is. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. We'll see y'all for some Audible shows. If not, I.O.W. Sports. We'll see y'all next Monday. Peace.
Yeah. Solid Hill TD, yes, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W. Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mall. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mall. We about to